So what's up, my good people? Hello and welcome to another installment of Let's Talk Motorsports with your host Tarig Waldron, aka The Big Ticket. I just want to say what's good, what's up. If you're new to the podcast, this is a podcast show all about motorsports. We talk about cars, we talk about Moto GP, Formula One, we talk about the World Endurance Championship, we talk about the German Touring Masters, we talk about 24 Hours of Le Mans, we talking about all things motorsports, talking about rally cross, we talking about rally in general, we talking about off-road, on-road, all of that good stuff. We were talking about the Moto America series, baby. But today, this episode right here, we're strictly going to focus on Formula One, Moto GP, WEC, the DCM, and I'm going to finish it up with a little bit of inspiration, with a little bit of advice from your boy, with a little bit of advice from yours truly. Welcome to the show. I just want to say that this right here, I think, is about like the third episode, the third installment of LTM, Let's Talk Motorsports. If you enjoy, definitely rate it 5 stars on wherever you're listening. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, should be available on most, if not all, streaming services, podcast streaming services, whatever the case may be. But definitely rate it 5 stars for your boy. Thank you. It helps me move. It helps move the show up the algorithm, helps me get new listeners, and keeps me inspired to keep giving y'all more, keep doing what I do best. Moving into the show a little bit. Actually, no, not moving into the show yet. Not done. If you guys want to show some type of support, or if you guys want to, because I put up show notes, I ask for show notes, ask for questions, stuff like that, or ask for topics to talk about. If you guys want to come in and tell me anything about that, tell me anything that's on your mind, definitely feel free to hit me up on my Twitter at TheBigTicket07. That's where you can ask me all questions and all things of that nature. That's where you also find plenty of updates on the show, as well as updates on what's going on in the motorsport and the racing, environment and the racing journey, the racing experience. And also you can hit me up on my social media, on where I be at most of the time, but I do definitely be on Twitter damn near all the time. But where I be at on Instagram at Tarig Waldron, that's TARIGWALDRON. Feel free to hit me up there as well. Another thing. Nah, that should be it. Never mind. But welcome to the show where I like to talk about motorsports. So, like the title says, let's do that. Let's talk motorsports. Starting off with Formula One. The day of which I'm recording this is September 13th, 2020. Now, I originally planned on doing this on Friday. It is now Sunday. So the race has already happened. So I have to dust off some of the stuff that was already a part of my show notes and was already a part of what I was going to be talking about. And I got to change up what I'm doing right now. The way I'm going to do this is basically, I'm going to run off the cuff. I'm going to run off the top of my head off this stuff right quick. There are going to be some times where I split off and read some notes, read different articles, and show you guys some clips and all that stuff. Another thing that I'm trying out now, before with the last bit of episodes, it was just me talking, but now I am going to be investing in YouTube. I'm going to be actually pursuing that. So we now have a video podcast. If you want to check out the video, if you want to check out the video version of this podcast, head over to YouTube. Just go in the search bar, type in Tarig Waldron, or type in Let's Talk Motorsports. You will find me there. Definitely go there, check it out. If you want to see the stuff that I'm talking about, if you want to see me, my visual, you want to see my handsome face, whatever the case may be, definitely check it out on YouTube as well. It's a good place to actually, basically feel like I'm having a conversation with y'all. Or to feel like you're having a conversation with me, whatever the case, however it makes you feel. But stepping into the Tuscan Grand Prix that happened today. Now, I wasn't able to catch all of the race. It did start at 9 a.m. I do not wake up on 9 a.m. on a Sunday. No, never will. I probably have, because I had to go to church plenty of times, but never will again. Started at about 9 a.m. today. Now, the Tuscan GP. First, before I get to the actual race, let me start off with what happened in qualifying. Now, qualifying, there's a bunch of different sections, but Lewis Hamilton now holds the track record for Mugello, and that should be no surprise. He's one of the best. He is, at this moment, the best racer, driver ever. Well, not ever, but, alive or still racing, whatever the case. He is the best. He is showcasing everything that he can do, and as of right now, he is one of my top role models, simply because of the fact that he is one of the people that got me interested in this kind of racing, simply because He's African American, or of African American descent. Although he is British, he is, still a colored folk, still black, still African American. I am just, American. I'm African American as well. Let me not say that, but he's one of the reasons that I got into the sports, that I got into motorsports in general. And, he's definitely a role model for plenty of other people, I'm sure. But he has shown why he is top dog all the time. He now holds the new track record for Mugello at, I believe, 115 and 422 or something like that. He's showcasing that he is here to stay. He is here for the long run. And it is no surprise that he showed up first on the starting grid, obviously with the fastest ever track time. You would find that at first in the starting grid, with Bottas coming in at second at 59 at 5 hundredths of a second slower in the qualifying. Now, I can talk about my predictions for the race, but I actually know what happened. But fuck it, I'm gonna still talk about my predictions. What occurred in this? See, the way I saw it was Lewis Hamilton got the track record with the 115. Okay, Bottas being 50, what is it? 5 hundredths of a second or 50 hundredths of a second, whatever that is. Behind Lewis, I figured Bottas would be able to get a W in the actual race. The reason behind that is because I know Lewis is great. I know Lewis is fast. I just didn't think that he would be able to get that 115 lap time again. And I thought that Bottas is seemingly always stays consistent with his qualifying and his actual lap time. So I was thinking he might be able to cap this one. That both drivers are from Mercedes, and you can see that they are clearly pushing the limit. They are clearly number one and number two almost all the time. They're in contention with themselves, basically. They're in contention with themselves. The other guys, they're not even worried about. Now, I'm going to go into this, into the actual race. Now, into the actual race, there were plenty of crashes that, honestly, I couldn't believe there were so many damn crashes in this race. It went like this, okay? Starting off, there are some notes next to me, so you might catch me glancing and looking down, and I do got to read a couple things. But starting off, turn 2, fresh start of the race, first lap of the race, Verstappen in a 5-car pileup, not pileup, but in a 5-car crash, results in a safety car coming out. Now, the riders have to restart the race. Okay, they restart, going, 9 laps. I believe something else occurs that results in another restart. There's another crash. Yeah, there was a single crash that resulted in another restart. From there, that restart begins and 3 more cars crash at the restart, literally at the green light. Now, I don't know what the hell was going on, but why there were so many crashes, I have no clue. These things, the wheels completely destroyed. Cars no longer able to finish. I think 6 or 7 riders out of the race altogether. Moving in now, let's say that's damn near half of the starting grid. Now Bottas, at lap 9 there was that 3 crash, that happened. Bottas was in first from lap 1 all the way up to lap 9. Then that crash occurred. Right, and then they restarted, okay, and those crashes happened, which then required for the session to be stopped, allowed for tires to be changed, different stuff like that to happen and occur. So from there, okay, damn near half of the grid is gone. Damn near half of the original starting grid is now gone. Okay, so what that means now is that I don't know if it's more competition or less competition, but I know that the riders in front ain't got to worry about really nothing unless they themselves fuck up. Okay, the riders in the back, the riders who qualified low and stuff like that, they got to worry about what other drivers are doing. They got to worry about if they fuck up, how am I going to dodge them? How am I going to move? How am I going to do this? And you can see some of the stress in their visual, representation. You know what I'm saying? Like in their faces. When, if you look at the clips and stuff, if you look at the stuff that I should be putting in, hopefully, check out check me out on YouTube, Tarig Waldron. You'll find Let's Talk Motorsports on there. If you look at them, and you can see some of them are starting to rearrange their focus, starting to think about not crashing rather than winning. That's just what it seems like to me. Now, I know that, guys obviously want to win. Guys obviously want to push themselves. But I know that some of them are going to start, reeling back a little bit. They'd rather finish the race, get points, than not finish at all. Now, at the restart for lap 9, at the restart, I guess I should say, for that lap, Hamilton jumps right in the first, and from there just takes command of the entire race for the entirety of the rest of the race. Doesn't back off, doesn't slow down, stays in first, Bottas on his behind. Those two guys competing and battling it out for first place, pole position, and doing whatever is necessary to get that championship. Behind them, I have no idea who was behind them. I was too busy focused on their race up front. I had to go back and catch a couple highlights and to get some notes down. But aside from that, they were battling Verstappen, someone who we seen to be a competitor, someone who I thought would have been able to put some more pressure on these guys. Because of that crash out of turn 2 and that DNF, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. He would have definitely brought a different level of competition and a different level of intensity to that race for those two guys up front. Like I was saying, Hamilton stayed in front from lap 9 all the way up to lap 46. Now, what happened in lap 46 was a crash. Well, actually, for the entirety of the race, I should say, honestly, because he still got a good jump start off of the restart. But at lap 46, there was a crash based off from a punctured tire, losing traction, this kind of stuff, and ended up crashing off to the side. The session was stopped again, and from there was another restart, 14 laps to go. Now, Formula One, they were given 4 hours to actually complete the entirety of the race. With that, it was about 49 minutes or so left in the actual racing, so they had to get everything done quickly, had to get everybody back on track very quickly. And from that, guys were able to change their tires, guys were able to, do checkups on the cars or whatever was necessary during that stop, and prepare themselves for those last 14 laps and just focus on racing, just focus on the track. Lewis Hamilton comes away with the victory, of course. Props to him. I just really thought Bottas would have won simply because of the fact of what I saw in qualifying. No. Blah, blah, blah. My bad. I'm fucking up right now. If you like this podcast, rate it 5 stars. But he definitely showed that he can. He is up there. He is up to par with Lewis, and he is continuing to get better. And whenever Lewis slips, Bottas is right there to take the place, and Bottas is right there to do it for Mercedes in the Mercedes team. And Lewis is showcasing why he is the best and will remain to be the best. And in my personal opinion, with his young age, he is going to continue to be the best for a long fucking time. And I am in love with it. Moving on to MotoGP San Marino. That was actually a while ago. That was last week. I was supposed to be recording earlier in Friday and upload this, but I didn't. So my bad. I'm sorry. My bad. But in the San Marino Quartero, however you say his name, I'm sorry. I'm not their parents. Some of these names you will not hear me pronounce it correctly. I apologize. But in the San Marino Moto GP, he crashes. Twice actually. Has nobody to blame but himself. Honestly, he was by himself both races, clearing enough space from any type of opponent, clearing enough space from anybody else being to blame, and it was just him. It was just him doing whatever he had to do. Crashing slide one. I think he just lost the rear both times. That's all in my personal opinion. I think his lean angle was too aggressive, and he lost the rear both times. He was in contention for that, but with those two crashes, put him out of that race. So I don't know what's finna happen with him. Hopefully his mindset is back on the track. His mindset is back on the race. Obviously Misano happened today, of course, on Sunday the 13th. You will be hearing me talk about that in the next episode, so tune in for the next episode of Let's Talk Motorsports. That'll probably come out early next week, as well as some information that whatever happens over this weekend that's coming up. So hopefully I'll just be covering these last 2 weeks and be able to be back on track with the rest of the seasons. But what I will draw my attention to is the fact that Francesco Bagnaia moving from 7th to 2nd in utterly amazing fashion. Yes, a other rider, I forgot who the hell won first because I was so busy tied up in his rise up those ranks. It was an amazing journey to watch, basically. Not necessarily a journey, but it was an amazing fight to watch, I should say. He was pushing himself, pushing the bike, and he was doing everything necessary to make to overtake, to defend against overtakes, and to continue to push and eliminate any type of non-focus from the track. You know what I'm saying? He was able to just stay focused, do what he had to do, get it done, and execute perfectly. He did so well. As a matter of fact, Valentino Rossi was in second place damn near the entirety of the race. The GOAT, the greatest of all time in MotoGP, standards, whatever. Hasn't been able to hit podium in a minute now. But Francesco was able to come from seventh, fought his way up, overtook Rossi for second, and then was able to defend it against, God damn it, number 26. That's all I could tell you. I know his number, I just forgot his name. Number 26 for third, with Rossi finishing in fourth. That was just the thing that I had to see, because that fight was amazing. That fight was dope. That's all I could tell you about that one. All right. Now, I am in the MotoGP section of this podcast, so we're going to continue with MotoGP stuff. Now, MotoGP is testing rider radio warning systems at Misano, which had occurred today, so I will let you guys know what happened with that stuff next week. They tested on a few riders, not everyone, to see how well it would help or whatever the case may be. But let me tell you about what it is. Now, the radio warning systems go like this. Basically, riders were riding fast. They're riding at about 150 miles an hour around turns and shit. They can't see every fucking thing. They're focused on the track. They're not necessarily focused on the sides of the fucking track where the red flags normally come from, where yellow flags normally come from. So, I feel like the rider warning system would allow an auditory signal in their helmet to let them know, yo, slow down, ease off, break up, pay attention. Something's going on up somewhere on the track. The perfect example was during the MotoGP, a Moto 2 race that occurred recently. Actually, I'm gonna pull up the article for y'all. I need to just find the article for a second, but I know exactly where this is at. This is just, hold on. Where is it? So I can read it for you. Boom. Okay. So how it goes is like this. There was a big crash. Now, I'll read the article for y'all right here. Just a little bit of that. Now, on Friday, Honda's Stefan Bradl tested a radio communication system on the bike upon request from Dorna Sports as part of a push to introduce a new means of warning riders of on-track hazards after the events of the Austria doubleheader. During the Moto 2 Austrian Grand Prix, Bastianini crashed exiting the first corner, and he and his bike were left in the middle of the track with Asper's Havish, I don't know how to say these people's names, man. Jeez, unsighted behind another rider as he pulled out into the path and struck Bastianini's bike. Okay, Bastianini's bike was still laid out on the track, and a couple riders had passed it. A couple riders had missed narrowly. I can't stress that enough. Narrowly missed him and the bike. But the next rider coming up, just whatever his name is, I don't know how to say it. Siren. I'm gonna just call you Siren. He came up and he was behind another rider. He was behind another rider. Okay, trying to draft, and then came out to make an overtake move, which resulted. But during that overtake move, he came out to the middle of the track where the bike was, and that's 170 miles an hour into a fucking bike. Something's wrong. Something's gonna go wrong, and sure enough, it did. His bike resulting in a big crash, pieces flying, bike flipping. He's full send into the air and down onto the ground, and off the side of the track. Hopefully everything is okay. I forgot to research about his health, honestly, but hopefully he is okay. Yeah, he escaped serious injury, and nobody was struck by no debris or anything like that. And then of course there was the big crash in the Moto GP race between Johann Zarco and Franco Morbidelli, where they crashed, and I'm sure plenty of people, if you're interested in Moto GP at all, saw the video of the bike flying right past, like literally like this close to Rossi's helmet and Rossi's head. So obviously I could understand the big need for the rider warning system. Let's see. A lot of people said the other week with the red flag, they didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see the red flag for so many laps, and they didn't get it on the dashboard while some riders did. That was true. I think in that sense it might be good. You know what I'm saying? For like the case of for this right here, I am 100% behind it. 110% behind this move by MotoGP. It is I don't understand why it hasn't been implemented beforehand. It's clear that it's needed with the amount of crashes, of the amount of multiple crashes that happen, based off of the fact that guys just don't see the red flags, or they don't see the yellow flags to slow down. They don't see these things to ease off, to pull back the throttle, to, you know what I'm saying, to release the throttle and slow the fuck down. Things, they need to pay attention to what's going on up front. But guys are going so fast, guys are going moving, doing all these things, focusing on just the track, focusing on the race, focusing on what's going on with the bike. They're not thinking about no fucking red flag until they actually get a glimpse of it. Basically that red flag has to be in their sight line. They're not going to be out here. What? Oh, red flag. Damn, let me stop. No, they're going to be more of like focused on the track. Oh shit, was that a red flag? Might look back. Oh damn, that was a red flag. Let me slow down. You know what I'm saying? That's how that goes down. I feel as though with this rider warning system, they'll be able to be like, crash up front, slow down, red flag on the track, red flag, yellow flag, red, you know what I'm saying? They're able to listen and get that auditory signal, that auditory warning, like, yo, something's wrong, slow down, you need to back off. Okay, no passing or nothing like that is allowed anyway. Just back off, slow down, boom. Okay, cool. So I'm definitely 100%, 110% behind this move. Some people are worried that it'll jump into a Formula One-esque type way where, you know, full rider communication systems from teams to riders will be used. Honestly, is that so bad? I don't think that's a bad thing at all. You know, I've had communication systems in my helmets and stuff like that. But is it really that bad? I don't think so. I think that might be beneficial. You know, no longer will you have to bring out, I've watched MotoGP races where they bring out the sign and be like, yo, you know, and while they're going over, they got to look at the shit and see that they're one lap up, this many seconds behind, or yada yada. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So I feel as though moving into a full Formula One-esque communication system for the MotoGP is not going to be that bad. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he's slowing down up front, you're picking up speed, keep going on him, rather than the riders having to gauge that shit themselves and having to fit and thinking that, okay, I don't think I'm going to catch him, I might as well just try and defend. No, keep on attack. Keep on attack. You know, the engineer or whatever could come over like, no man, keep on attack. Do not slow down. You're right behind him. This many seconds split, he's slowing down. You know, catch him. And I feel like that would just make it even better. That would just make it a even more competitive sport, which I don't think anyone will complain about. I think that'll be one of the best things that'll ever happen to MotoGP. I just don't understand why it wasn't there before. I don't understand why it wasn't there beforehand. I think it should be there, and I think they should keep that system for a long period of time. Obviously, there's some kinks that have to work out because they never used this shit before, but if they follow in Formula One's footsteps, they'll be able to get this done fairly quickly, fairly easily, be able to implement this into the entire next season. Now, obviously, there's going to be some riders that don't want it. There's going to be some riders that do. But, I mean, they can standardize it. Okay, they can make it a rule. Yo, you got to have some type of communication system here. Just simply, even if it's not you talking to your team, but it's just, you know, the auditory warning about, yo, red flag, yellow flag, some shit like that. I'm all for it. all for it. Okay, moving on. Now, there have been... Oh, wait. Actually, in the Marino Grand Prix, I'm not done with that. Yeah. Excuse me again. In the... never mind. Anyway, this is still Marino. Yeah. In the Marino Grand Prix, Quartararo, however you say his name, Paul Espargaro. Okay, yeah, wrong guy. Sorry. Paul Espargaro had a crash in the opening stages of the Moto GP in San Marino. Okay, in the Q2 qualifying second session, for those of you who don't race, that don't know what Q2 means. So he says that he burnt through his tires in Q1 and had to use a used front tire and a brand new rear tire. Now, for a track that's mainly front grip in San Marino, he lost that front. Okay, he lost that front, especially when you have way more grip in the rear than you do in the front. He lost the front end of the bike and just crashed. That's all I can tell you. He just had a pretty crash. Not pretty crash, a pretty nasty crash, but it wasn't that bad because it was, you know what I'm saying, it was just a little, but he had a crash. Also, he admits that he has been, his mind has been elsewhere, and not fully focused on the bike and the races. Now, I'm not sure what occurred in Misano. I have to catch up on that. That race did occur today. But hopefully everything is okay with him. Hopefully he's able to get everything where it needs to be. Hopefully his mind is at ease with whatever has been, biting at him, and he's able to actually focus on the bike and focus on the race, focus on the track, and execute and do what he needs to do, get good pole position and get some points in. Now Morbidelli, Franco, is it Franco Morbidelli? Yes, Franco Morbidelli. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Franco Morbidelli on his home stage, when riders are at their home track or whatever, at their home stage, at their host country track or something like that, they're able to wear customized helmets. Now, of course, a couple of other guys had customized helmets as well, but I'm mainly just talking about Morbidelli's. Now, Morbidelli's helmet says he wanted to tackle. Morbidelli states that he wanted to tackle racism with the helmet that he chose, with the helmet design that he chose, and I will bring that up right now. Now, the way it goes is this. Racism and diversity have been topics at the forefront in sport in 2020 in light of the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff of that nature. As is traditional for Italian riders at their home events, like I said, Morbidelli was one of several to debut a special helmet design on Saturday, which featured himself depicted as a character from the Spike Lee award-winning film Do the Right Thing. I've seen this movie when I was younger. Great message. So I could tell you, definitely go watch it if you haven't. It's worthwhile. A movie that tackles racial tensions and violence in America. Morbidelli, whose father is Italian and mother is Brazilian, also has the phrase equality printed in numerous languages on the back of his helmet. Explaining his new helmet design, he said, "When I decided to make the special helmet for this event, I wanted to deal with a big matter and a big topic, which is racism." He said, "But I wanted to also hug the whole 2020 year because this 2020 started in a really bad way and many, many not likable things happened in the world in 2020. We're trying to put up a show for the audience, and we're trying to make the audience feel good. So I wanted to treat the topic with some lightness, not being heavy." What that means, you know what I'm saying? You want to definitely bring attention to the conversation. You want to bring attention to the topic, but you don't want to be overbearing about the situation. And he continues and says, "And there is a Spike Lee movie that treats this matter in a great, it's called Do the Right Thing. There is the character that at one point in the movie just says, stop all the bullshit, stop hating each other, and he calls it time out. So I wanted to put myself in his clothes and step myself on the helmet. And also I wanted to send an equality message on the back in different languages because I think it's one of the most important things to remember. I think it's important to remember that we are all the same. The coronavirus reminded us this in a bad way, but we need to remember it also for the good days. So I think it was the best message to send in the lightest way possible." Alrighty. Now, honestly, The helmet design itself was fucking cool as shit. It was cool. It was super dope. That's if you guys don't know what the helmet looks like, I definitely check up the head to the YouTube version. Head to look up Tarig Waldron in the search bar. That way you could actually get to my channel. TARIGWALDRON for the video version, where I will be showing you the designs of his helmet. It will actually be going over the design of his helmet and things of that nature, where you can see the equality stuff in different languages, and you could actually take a look at the helmet yourself. Now, moving from that, there's plenty of racing or plenty of I don't want to say racial stuff going on with racing, but there is a number of stuff that has gone on with the racing industry and with the motorsports industry, with Hamilton being a number one spokesman for BLM, with a number of spokesmen for BLM, with for the Formula One racing stuff and things like that nature, because he is, after all, African American. He is black, and he is speaking up, doing whatever necessary, whatever he can do, I guess, to raise more awareness and to let more people know that this ain't right, this ain't how it's gonna go. And I'm fully agreeing with it. Obviously, I'm black, but and Morbidelli, thank you for speaking up. Thank you for doing what you do. I mean, obviously, you could actually raise your voice, but doing this nice and subtle, I like it. It's dope. And the design itself is fucking amazing. I don't know who put that together, but it's dope. That is definitely fantastic. If I could put that on my helmet, I would. Don't know how much it would cost. I ain't rich, so no, I just stick with my solid black. But transfer, obviously that racial tension has been, the hot button issue all of 2020, as well as this COVID stuff with all the riots and not riots, but all the protesting. Obviously there are riots, but I'm here for the protests. With all the protesting and stuff that has happened, not only in America but globally, obviously riders and racers and drivers are definitely going to be a part of that forefront. Everybody in the entertainment business, in the entertainment industry, has showcased what side they're on, and that's just clear. Now we're moving away from the Moto GP, but we're jumping right into the NASCAR incident that still revolves around the racial or the that diversity tension that's happening. Mike Wallace has been indefinitely suspended from NASCAR by violating the behavioral policy. Now, I'm a fan of NASCAR. Don't take that the wrong way. Don't take that as like some kind of whoa, what the fuck? Like, you the whitest black guy? No. I just enjoy sports I just enjoy anything with a motor, honestly. Quite a story. I've actually watched. I've seen Mike Wallace. Now, if you don't know, there's the Hall of Famer. Mike Wallace is the brother of the NASCAR Hall of Famer Rusty Wallace. I've watched Rusty. I've seen a little bit of Mike. Now, let me just read this article real quick. It's real simple. He most recently completed in 3 NASCAR Xfinity Series races this year at the Indianapolis Road Course, Road America, and the Daytona Road Course. Wallace has started over 800 races among NASCAR's 3 national divisions, winning 5 truck races and 4 Xfinity races. A social media post from Wallace violated this section of NASCAR's behavioral policy. Public statement and or communication that criticizes, ridicules, or otherwise disparages another person based upon that person's race, color, creed, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, marital status, religion, age, or handicap and condition. In order to be reinstated, Wallace must first complete sensitivity training. Now, there are a lot of Wallaces in the fucking NASCAR world. It doesn't make sense to me. There are so many damn Wallaces. There's Bubba Wallace, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Bubba Wallace is related to these guys, to the other fellas at all, but there's Bubba Wallace as well. Bubba Wallace is an African American driver with NASCAR. If you don't know who that is, definitely check into it. He is doing things, and he's putting in a front door, putting in a step in the right direction for people of color in the NASCAR world. Obviously, it's mainly dominated by Southerners and stuff of that nature, but we're slowly assimilating and rising and joining the ranks of these different races that have been fully Caucasian dominated, and showing that we are why we're the best at everything, and in my honest opinion. So that's just my little segue with the NASCAR stuff. That's all I really have for NASCAR. That was the only thing I really cared for to say. A couple of Truck Series wins here and there. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next episode. I might not. If you want to check it up, if you want to look into it, definitely feel free. Check into it yourself. You can find all that racing stuff on YouTube, or you could go to my number one source, motorsport.com. That's where I like to find all my articles. That's where I like to find all my news about this kind of stuff, or just checking on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Going into the WEC, what that stands for? Drumroll, World Endurance Championship. I don't know why that was a drum roll for that. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Man. Oh, if you're enjoying this right now, you know what I'm saying? If you're enjoying the episode, if you're enjoying the energy, if you're enjoying, listening to my wonderful studio sexy voice, feel free to rate this, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts and stuff of that nature too. But the factory, Ginetta, their G60 LTP1 that was entered under the Team L&T banner has been, has been pulled out of, I got a dirty mind, bro, has been recently removed from the LMP1 entries. That now brings it from 6 down to 5. Simply because of the fact that there has been a COVID infection spike in France. Obviously, the round has been rescheduled to September 19th. I'm pretty sure that's also going to be on basically every racing channel that you can find, even ESPN, if nothing is going on, with like NBA or stuff like that. But that's definitely going to be on those channels. So tune into that. There's clearly going to be a bunch of streaming stuff and all that stuff like that. But, yeah, with them pulling out at least 5 entries for the LMP1 class. If for those that don't know what LMP1 stands for, it means Le Mans prototype. Le Mans or Le Mans if you're saying it with the accent, but for the American people it's Le Mans. That is, in my personal opinion, one of the best races ever. Especially 24 hours, because you could catch it at any point in the day. It is the thoroughbred endurance race that I enjoy watching, that I enjoy seeing. Now that brings the total entries out of all the classes down to 59. Obviously, from last year was at like 63 or 64, something like that. Pretty strong. So obviously not changed up too much, not changed up that much, but Ginetta has taken their car out, but they have said that they will just be focusing on testing and revising the cars and getting them better and getting them ready for the 2021 season. Can't wait to see what they're about to do, and can't wait to see what type of badassery they're going to bring. Moving into Rallycross news. Rally has now, implemented electric cars, fully kitted electric Rallycross cars, and I've actually sat and watched videos of Ken Block testing and Ken Block driving and putting down some real seat time in these electric cars, not only for full-on rally stages but also Rallycross as well. And an event that happened recently, or not recently, but a good minute ago, known as Project E, that I just recently noticed because I'm just now finding out about this electric Rallycross stuff. Honestly, I feel as though with the way that this electric stuff works, that I think qualifying won't really matter. Like, your qualifying times won't matter. It'll be more just about how you do at the start of the race, how well you catch that light, basically, simply because of the fact that electric cars, the way that they operate, on the gas, or well, no, not on the gas, I guess on the battery. It's practically instantaneous. There's no, there's no latency, basically. So as soon as you switch over to that throttle, it's right on. So I feel as though it's just about who has the best reaction time. That's how it's going to dictate the starting of the race. And then from there, it's just a matter of defending and performing and executing how you need to. Now, I know, what I feel like that means for the sport simply is just people who fall back. People who are falling back into qualifying, or people who are just not as fast as these other guys, now have a contention at the start of the race, like I just explained, simply because of the fact that the way that those things work is damn near instantaneous. So they should be able to reach into that bag and pull something out the ass and actually perform. And from there, obviously, they can still get overtaken and stuff like that. But, it gives them that fighting edge at the beginning of the race. And then they can showcase what they're really made of. How well they drive, how well they move around, and how well they can craft lines and overtake and all that kind of stuff. Going from that, we're going into the DTM. For those of you that don't know what that is, I don't know how to say it in the actual language, but it means German Touring Masters. Robert Kubica, I talked about him in the last episode. He's the guy that I relatively have my eye on with BMW. He always seems to have a reason, as to why he never finishes where he wants to. He qualified 10th, which is a pretty good, qualifying, pretty good place to start on the starting grid. It's just his execution is poor. Don't get me wrong. He was doing fairly well at the beginning of the race, and he was keeping pace with all the other riders, moving from, I believe, 10th to 8th or something like that, and then went to pit stop, took a pit stop, and after that just couldn't do anything, couldn't execute, couldn't perform. Now, the way that he chalked it up was simply like this: tire pressure. Now, I understand tire pressure. Very important. Tire pressure can dictate the conditions. Don't get me wrong. It was wet. It was raining, but stuff was starting to dry up and all this other kind of stuff with different, levels of the track. One section was patched up wet. The other section was dry. Simply, he chalks it up as a bad tire pressure. Couldn't get enough grip. Couldn't get enough traction to really pull through and do what I needed to do. Couldn't get the right, style of driving that I wanted, and, had to fight the tires, basically. What I say to that, man, suck it up. You could have done a little bit better than what you did. Rather than having no points, you could have at least finished in a position where you did have points. I mean, I don't know nothing about the DTM, but I feel like in those conditions, with the tires that he had, yeah, he still had wet tires. Stuff was drying up a little bit, but he still could have performed better than he did. That's just my take on it. So he couldn't keep pace, and he dropped to 15th. That sucks. That really does suck for him. Now, BMW's rising star is Mr. I don't know how to say his fucking name. Sheldon Vanderlyn. Sorry. Sheldon Vanderlyn is BMW's rising star. He has proven that he is the better driver. He's proven that he is the best. He is the best out of what they have to, offer. Now, some say that Sheldon was, fortunate and lucky in his maiden win in the DTM simply because of the fact of, a red flag. They're chalking his win up to a red flag. I call that bullshit. The man performed the way he was supposed to. A win is a win, whether it's by an inch or a motherfucking mile. He did what he was supposed to when he got the W. I'm gonna read this article right here. Just a little excerpt. He said Vanderbilt himself admitting winning was the last thing on his mind when he lined up at 14th on the grid for the second race on a damp Aston circuit. BMW had struggled the entire time to match Audi in their lap-to-lap performance, but with they pulled Sheldon Vanderlyn out early on lap 10 to change up his tires, give him some fresh wet tires, and from there he was able to showcase that he can overtake these leaders. Leapfrogging. There you go, leapfrogging from racer to racer, just overtaking and performing and executing perfectly with every overtake and bringing himself into that top stage and that top level. And Now, the other riders from Audi, obviously, those guys are, top of the line races, and being that, BMW knew that their cars couldn't compete with the Audis, Vanderlyn had a fight on his hands. Those Audi drivers knew perfectly well that they could have made this a way more challenging fight for him, a way more challenging win for him as well, putting hella pressure on him and getting him to maybe panic, and then them coming in for the win. But there was a crash by a WRT Audi driver. I forgot his name, but he crashed on lap 22, and from there was a red flag. That red flag then stopped the race. All the drivers had to go back to the pits. What that means is they now have the opportunity to change tires and to recondition the cars. Now from there, Sheldon Vanderlyn was able to change his tires, get a fresh pair of tires, get a fresh pair of wet tires on, not pair, quad, or whatever, a fresh pair of wet tires on, and was able to, from then, continue to keep the lead and race and actually get the W and actually get the win. I don't care what nobody says. I ain't chalking that up to luck. The man performed and he did what he was supposed to for his maiden victory. I give him all the props in the world. Congratulations, Sheldon Vanderlyn. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing and keep executing and keep performing the way you have been. You've obviously showcased that you are the best in BMW's ranks. Moving on to the final real section of this podcast, I just want to give y'all a little dabble of inspiration. You know what I'm saying? A little thing to keep your mind at, keep your mind up. Now, I'm gonna chalk it like this. I myself have been a racer and have been, doing my own type of things and doing my own type of journey in the race world, in the race industry. Wasn't that long, but it happened. Okay. What that does to your mind, especially with me, I had a different type of situation. I had, kind of twice the situation, basically, because not only is it the fact of the normal race jitters, yo, how am I going to perform? What am I going to do? Am I going to win? Am I going to do well? Am I going to fucking crash? Aside, not even that, but the fact that I'm a fucking black guy with all these fucking white people right here. I'm not trying to make it racist or nothing like that, but it's I don't see anyone like me here ready, racing like I'm racing or doing like I'm doing. I don't want to, I don't know if I put the pressure of that on me myself, because other guys didn't really care, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I made it harder for myself thinking about that. Man, I want to do good. I want to show them that I could do this shit. I want to show them that, we could do this shit. That, y'all ain't the only ones that drive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we do good basketball. We do good at football. But we drive too. And that's kind of what I wanted to get across when I did that. When I did my racing. But, for the most part, it's mainly just relaxing your mind. Getting some music in you. Chilling, relax. Just focusing on what you have to do. Focusing on the plan. Get a goal in mind. And then from there, pursue that goal, do what you have to do to get to that goal, and finish off and execute. That's the number one thing. Make your goal, plan your goal. Now you execute the plan for the goal. That's what you got to do when it's time. When you feel at ease, just make a plan, make a goal, make a plan, execute. Simple, nothing hard, nothing difficult. Relax your mind, make a goal, make a plan, execute. Even with interviews or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Your goal is the job. You make the plan as to, I got this certification. I have this skill, this background. I'm going to share that information with y'all, whether you want to hear it or not, just so that it's out in the air that I am fully qualified for this job and I believe I should get it. And then it's just a matter of executing that, letting them know, this is what it is and this is how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And actually getting what you wanted and actually getting your goal. You know what I'm saying? Once you relax your mind, you're able to do all that. You're able to do all those things. You can do that with music, whatever. Another thing, or reading a book, shit, whatever the hell that actually cools you down, calms you down, and relaxes your mind. Another thing is doing something new. Don't be afraid to do something new. Right now, for this podcast right now, I've been doing, the podcast stuff for a minute, but now I'm actually jumping into the video podcast realm and actually going to be able to, put this stuff on YouTube and shit like that. So I was always a little bit frantic about putting my face and stuff like this attached with the actual show. But I decided, you know what? Ain't no need to be afraid of that. Just do what I got to do. Actually, do the necessary things, and just try it. See what it do, and if it does do well, shit, best believe I will be doing more. I will be doing it again. Probably might continue this format for the entirety of the series, for the entirety of everything that I'm talking about, for as long as I can keep it up. So if you guys do want to check out the video version of this podcast, head over to youtube.com, and that way you could just look up Tarig Waldron. That's TARIGWALDRON, and you can check out the video version of this podcast there on my channel. From that point, that's basically all I got to say. Thank you for watching. And hopefully you tune in for the next episode that's coming out early next week. Monday or Tuesday, those are usually my upload schedules, in the early section of the week. Wednesday or before. That's just how I operate. If you guys want to, talk to me or whatever, give me some notes, talk to me, find out if I could talk about these topics or give my opinions on certain topics, definitely feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the Big Ticket 07, and on my Instagram at Tarig Waldron. That's TARIGWALDRON, same as the YouTube channel. And from there, just hit me up with some topics or whatever the case may be. But last but not least, if you enjoyed, rate this 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, and share with your peoples, all that good stuff, man. Peace. Oh, actually, no, not peace yet. Congratulations to Cameron Boubier with the Moto America. I will be talking more about that on the next episode, so just tune in and be ready for that talk. Peace. Have a wonderful day. Adios to all my peoples. And if you do race, drive safe. Ride safe. All that good stuff.